Hello, I'm Ray. Happy Christmas. I know it's gone. This video was supposed to be for Christmas Eve, but to be honest, we got so busy up to Christmas, I just didn't have time to do it. So it's New Year's Eve now, when you're watching this. Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one. Prosperity, not necessarily financial, but health and happiness. That's what we want. A little bit of money, of course, won't go amiss. So I hope 24 is a really good year, and hopefully I'll put on a few more ghost stories. Now, tonight, I want to tell you, this is only a brief one. I've got a dreadful cold, as you can probably hear. A sore throat and all sorts. There was, where I lived many years ago, there was a lady that lived, well, a young lady that lived a couple of doors along from me. I happened to see her in the garden one morning. The front garden, that is. And we just got chatting. And she said, "Have you seen that light in the woods down there?" And I'm thinking, woods where? Where's the woods? And I said, "Well, there aren't any woods." No. She said, "Down there, end of the road, turn right. There's a plot of land, wasteland, basically." And I said, "No, there's no light there. There's nothing there. It's just a fenced off area." I didn't know what it was for, what it was about. It just was a plot of land that had all overgrown. Trees, shrubs, undergrowth, brambles, just nothing there. And it was fenced off by the main road that ran along the end of our road. And she said, "There's a light in the trees." So I said, "Well, I don't know, I haven't seen that." "When it's dark," she said, "go up to the back room of your house and have a look down there. You'll see a light in the trees." So I just said, okay. I didn't know what she was on about. I just said, "Yeah, I'll do that. Tonight when I go up there, I'll have a look." Well, that evening, I did go up to the bedroom, about 7 o'clock. It was autumn, so it was getting pretty dark in the evenings. And I looked out to where she had said, and sure enough, flickering in the foliage of the trees, was a light, only a fairly dim light. And I thought, yeah, well, that's nothing. You know, what is she on about? That's nothing. Nothing important, nothing remarkable. And when I saw her the next day, she actually came round. "Did you see the light?" I said, "Well, yes, I saw a light down there." I said, "I think it's the lampposts, because along the main road there were lampposts." And I said, "It's just shining through the foliage of the trees, and it's flickering, that's what you can see." And she said, No, look properly tonight." So I just went along with it. I said, okay, I'll look properly tonight. And I did. And I could see the light. I actually got my binoculars out. I've got the old bins, and I'm having a look. And I could see this light flickering because of the foliage in front of it, blowing around in the breeze. It was sort of like that, a semicircle of light, as if the lamp was on a wall and it was shining down, and you know how you get the semicircle of light shining down. And I thought, okay, that's simple enough. It's on the wall of a house, probably over a door, perhaps the back door of the place. Nothing strange about that. The following day she was knocking on my door. "Have you seen the light? Did you see the light last night? Did you have a look?" I said, "Yes, I saw it. It's obviously on the back of a house, a building. You can see the semicircle of light. Looks like it's on a back wall, probably over a door." "There's no house there," she said. "There is no house there in that plot of land. There's just undergrowth, shrubs, nothing. All the houses in the road at the back of us, their gardens meet our back garden, and you can see the back of the houses." I said, "That's obviously what it is. It's the back of the last house, probably down the road over there." No, she said, It's not. It's where that plot of land is." So I said, "Oh, okay, it's where the plot of land is." I said, "Perhaps it's kids. Have they built a camp there or something like that?" "Let's go and have a look," she said. "Let's go tonight when it's dark. I'll come round at 7. I said, "All right, come round at 7 and we'll wander down there and have a look." 7 o'clock on the dot, knocking on my front door. She had a torch. "Come on," she said, "let's go." She looked like she was ready for some sort of expedition somewhere. Had her coat on, had a bag. Do you remember the old duffel bags? I don't know what was in the bag. She's all ready to go. So we wandered down the street together, got to the end of our road, turned right, walked along. Opposite was a park. There's the main road. Opposite is a park. We walked along to where this fenced off area was. Lampposts along there. And I thought, that's what it is. It's a lamppost. Just deceptive the way you look at it. It looks like a semicircular of light, on a wall. That's what it looked like from using my binoculars. So we wandered along there. We're looking around in the trees. No, there's no light. There's no light there at all. She walked a little bit further. There it is, she said, there it is. I wandered up to where she was, and she was right. There was a light. Through the bushes, through the trees, there was a light. And it was definitely somewhere on this plot of land, plot of sort of waste ground. So she said, come on, let's go. And she started to climb over the fence. It was quite 4 feet high? Something like that. Not too difficult to climb over, but at the top was spikes, like a row of spikes, iron sort of railings. And she's climbed over it. She's the other side. Come on, come on. So I climbed over the fence, and she had the torch, and she's shining it around. There's brambles and all sorts of stuff to fight our way through, basically, towards this light, which appeared to be in the trees. When we got there, well, not quite there, when we got within a few yards, there was a house. And there was the semicircle of light on the brickwork above the back door. It seemed to be the back door of this house. I'd lived in that area for a number of years, and I'd never known a house to be there. I looked round, took my bearings. There was the main road over there. There's the park opposite. There's the street lights. Our road, I could see just through the trees, the back of the last house in our road. I knew where I was. It was in this plot of land, a house. We're quite a few yards away. And she's saying, I told you. And I said, well, you didn't tell me. You just said it was a light in the trees. No, but I told you it was something eerie. And she's off on one, something ghostly. This isn't right. And I said, look, let's go. I will come back tomorrow. I said, look, let's go. We'll come back tomorrow and have a look in the daylight to see exactly what's going on. No, she said. No, I want to see now what it is. And I said, well, she started walking towards the house. I said, you can't go knock on the door. Oh, I'm not going to. She said, look, there's a window with a light. So she crept up to this window. It was all around the house was basically just undergrowth, and we're treading on twigs that are cracking. I thought the people in the house would hear us. They certainly hadn't looked after their garden, if this area had been the garden, which it would appear that it had been. So we crept up to this window and looked in, and there was a lady dishing up some food on these plates. 2 children sitting at a table, and she's putting the food on the plates. And she was dressed 1930s, 1940s, certainly not 50s. No, earlier than 50s. And the furniture, everything in the house, in that room, seemed to be a large kitchen area. It was 30s, 1940s. And I didn't like this at all. I didn't like it at all. This friend of mine, she's whispering things to me and looking back through the window, and I said, look, let's go. We'll come back tomorrow. It's obviously a house. Let's just go. We'll come back tomorrow and have a proper look. She wasn't happy with that. She wanted to stay and watch the family, the woman and the 2 children. We did stay for a few minutes. There was nothing to see, basically. There was a big range in the kitchen, like a cooking range. Very old-fashioned. I was quite intrigued, actually. I like the 40s. I like that era. Not so much the 20s, but 40s, 50s. I like that. So I did take an interest. But eventually I convinced her that we had to go. We couldn't stay there. If the woman saw us, she'd be frightened. You know, she might, I don't know, there might be her husband there in another room. He might come out with a stick or something, I don't know. So we left. And we went back home. We had a cup of coffee at her place, and then we decided that we would finally do what I had suggested, go back the following day when it was daylight, so we could have a proper look round, maybe even knock on the door and introduce ourselves as neighbours. I don't know, we had various ideas that we'd carry out tomorrow. We did go back the following day. In fact, the following morning, about 7 in the morning, she's banging on my door. I haven't mentioned her name, by the way, because I don't want to give anything away, or the name of the road or the area or anything like that. So she's banging on my door. Come on, it's daylight. Okay, right. I didn't even have breakfast. We're walking down the road. I was dressed, at least, I hasten to add. We walk down the road, we turn right, there's the fence. We're looking around, no house. She said, well, it's in the trees, it's in the bushes. Over the fence again, there's cars driving past. there's people going to work. People are waiting for a bus at a bus stop over the road. And we're climbing over this fence. I expected someone to call the police. No one did. We got over the fence, wandered through the woods to where the house had been. There was no house. Nothing. Just brambles everywhere, stinging nettles, just undergrowth. No house at all, no light, nothing. We were standing in the undergrowth, looking at each other, looking back to where the house had been, looking at each other, open-mouthed. We hadn't been dreaming. As she said, we can't have both had the same dream at the same time. We'd walked there the night before, we'd seen the house. We'd looked through the window, but there was no house. And we're looking round. This is the right place. This is where the house was. I didn't know what to think. We went back over the fence. Luckily, no police cars turned up. We got back over the fence and walked back to her place, only a couple of doors away from me. Hers was the nearest on the way back. We were sitting at her kitchen table, having a cup of coffee and talking about this. And she said, I'm going to phone my aunt, who has lived in this area for all her life, something like, 70 or 80 years. So she went off and phoned her aunt. That's in the days when the phone was in the hall. And she came back in. There was a house there, she said. It was blown up in the war. Blown up in the war. Apparently there was a family that lived there. Husband, wife and 2 children. The husband had gone off to war and was never seen again, presumed lost in action. And the wife and the 2 children stayed in the house, which was blown up. There were no survivors. The house had been complete rubble. The site had been cleared and basically left and just all overgrown. So there had been a house there, and there had been a lady with 2 children living there until it was bombed. Every night I looked out of my bedroom window, back of the house, looked down towards the trees, and there was the light. It was there, not every night, most nights it was there. On the odd night it wasn't. And several nights I walked down there to have a look to see if I could see the house, the lady, the children. Didn't see it again. We both walked down there several times. Neither of us saw it again. And neither of us could come up with any explanation as to why we, I was going to say, had been privileged, I don't know. Privileged perhaps to see the house and the occupants. We never did see the house again. We saw the light from the backs of our houses, the upstairs windows, but we never saw the house again. Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one. I shall see you soon with another story. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.